Alright guys, wanted to continue with the series that I started the other week of my top arcade games. So last one was Blood Brothers, which is a game I just really love. And then the next one is going to be Bad Dudes. I really liked this game growing up, played it in the arcade quite a bit, was frustrated as heck with this game. Never beat it in the arcade, but it did compel me to buy the NES released version, which, if I remember correctly, I think the NES version was a lot more difficult than the arcade version. But I did eventually beat the NES version. Never beat the arcade version, but occasionally I'll play it here and there. It's a game that I really liked. Played it at the arcade in the mall where I lived when I was a lot younger. And just wanted to continue the series. One credit, and we'll end the video. So let's see what I got. President Ronnie. Kidnapped by ninjas. I think I'm bad enough to rescue this guy. Let's get him. What I find in this game is if you hesitate, that's when you're taking the most damage. If you just keep going forward, you still get jacked up, but I always felt like I got further if I just kept moving. Not hesitate. Whenever you find a weapon, grab it. Especially in nunchucks. Oh, did not mean to do that. Nunchucks makes it a lot easier to beat some of these bosses. But the first boss I think is pretty easy anyway. He does that high and low fire attack. This might be a short credit. Let's have two buttons, attack and jump. So it is pretty simple. But I'm bad. Let's keep going. Go to the next stage. I believe it was on the diesel trucks. Yep. I guess this is one that's kind of hard to just keep trudging forward. But overall, I don't think is necessarily a difficult stage. The game is pretty monotonous. I mean, same enemies over and over. I think it gets a little more varied later on, but not much. They're ninjas. Ninjas kidnapped the president, so that's what you're gonna fight, is ninjas. Ooh. I know if you fall, you'll take damage hitting the ground. I don't think it's an instant death, but if you fall on the ground, you're pretty much dead in this level. Just can't really get accustomed to the hit detection in this game. I think I got it. Like I said, I got a better groove playing this on the NES, even though it wasn't as smooth. But for some reason, I got into a better groove playing that version. Dang it! Is that it? One more. And the if I remember, I think the boss in this stage is a little ninja dude with a claw, or a couple claws anyway. I don't remember how much of a pain he was, but I know he's like that guy. Give me that. Ugh. Alright, here we go. Let's do this. Bad. Stupid little... Ugh. Unbelievable. Well, that's it. The little dwarf version of Shredder from the Ninja Turtles whooped my ass. Oh well. Well, this video is pretty short, but we'll continue. Next game, I'm going to try to post my next few favorites within the next few days. So, like I said, this was one I really liked. I don't necessarily think it's the greatest game ever, but I really enjoyed it back in the day. Probably enjoyed the NES version more than the arcade version. But yeah, there you go. Bad Dudes. Check it out if you haven't played it, or rag on it if you think it's a horrible game. I like it. It is what it is. Catch you guys next time.